KirstieAndrews. So today I'm doing a speed build of a haunted vampire Tudory end of medieval period kind of house. This was actually a shell challenge. So the shell was on the Sims 4 official, well, the Sims official Discord. So I haven't really done a shell challenge before because I always really struggle, especially with bigger ones. I don't tend to do that many smaller shell challenges. I love a good tiny home. Most of the stuff on my channel is just tiny houses, so big builds are quite a struggle for me. But that's fine, I wanted to challenge myself and give it a go. So this was just before the Life and Death pack came out, because it was actually, you could enter a competition to win a Life and Death pack. So I figured might as well enter the competition and try and push myself out of my comfort zone at the same time. So that's what I did. So this was the shell. It was kind of like usual shell challenges rules. So I just kind of gone along with that, and I've just tried to do it the best I can. So I really struggled with the roof for quite a while. Again, I don't do big builds so that I don't have to do big roofs. So I tried to make it look as normal as I could. And I actually didn't mind the roofs to start with. I think they looked quite good. But then I had Sims 4 and all the glitches. I ended up having a lot of glitches with the roofs. So as soon as I made the rooms, the roofs would clip in, and then I had to change the roofs and make them smaller and try and make it so that you couldn't see it through the walls. There's a little bit inside, but I've tried to cover it as much as I can. But it's Sims 4. We live with the glitches. It's fine. So I started off with this brick interior because it was called haunted castle shell. It's in the corner. That's what it was called. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to do this big brick castle, and it's going to be great. And then I just thought, actually, I think I want to do more of a Tudory, vampire-y style house design. Because I live in the UK, we actually have quite a few of those kind of houses left. And I love to go and look around them all, look around all the old houses. So I was heavily inspired by that because we often just go on the weekends and go and see different big houses. So that is where I based my inspiration off. And then because it was because it was a spooky house, I wanted to do kind of vampire theme. And I was also watching a lot of What We Do in the Shadows, so I kind of imagined that. Bunch of vampires living together maybe, and then the house is a bit run down, it could really do with some fixing up, but no one's going to fix it up. Who's got the time and energy and money? Just living there having a good time. So the house actually ends up being... There's a couple of bedrooms. So there's the main master bedroom, where the main vampires live, and then there's also a coffin room. So just a room with 2 coffins in it. You could just have a couple of vampires sleeping in there. And then there's also I just call it the familiar room, or the servant room. So I imagine there's some kind of someone who does their bidding, and they live in that room. And then creepily, you go up the ladders into a baby's room. I know it's not really practical, in real life, having a baby's room up ladders, but in The Sims, it just doesn't really work. You have to teleport the babies or whatever. It's fine. The baby can just stay up there and fend for itself. But I put the baby above the servant's room because I figured the servant or carer, child carer, whoever lives there would be doing most of the baby care. The parents are probably just off doing whatever it is vampires do. So downstairs there's also a large kitchen that's it's in disuse, it's not used much, so it's just kind of full of bits of clutter and webs and everything else. And then there's a big dining room, a more formal area, and then there's a front room with nice cozy seating and a bit more of a relaxed chill area. So we're nearly getting there with the outside now. I've mostly used a lot of Get Together for the exterior. I actually really liked it. So we kind of got Get Together windows, the walls and from Get Together. I think some of the floors might be, or most of them are vampire floors. But figuring out the layout for the house was quite hard. I had a rough idea of what I wanted to go with. I wanted some big kind of sections because, again, I was basing it off ones I'd seen in real life and ones I'd been around. So I kind of knew what style rooms I wanted. I definitely wanted a kitchen towards the back, and then just 2 large usable rooms rather than lots of different rooms with lots of different activities. It was more common to kind of have the bigger halls and bigger areas to, have guests or even just chill by yourself. So that's why I've gone for the kind of bigger rooms. And I wanted a double grand staircase up because I felt in a big house like this, even though there's not many rooms or much going on, you've probably only got a few people living there. I just wanted some big staircases, which means I kind of had to alter my layout a little bit to fit the stairs in. So So that was okay because I actually liked the layout in the end. What I don't like is the stair banisters kind of go down the middle. I couldn't separate them to make it into like a big staircase. I've done that before, but I don't remember how I did it. And it's a lot of faff anyway, so it's fine, it's fine. It just automatically kind of like the railings just go up the middle of the stairs, which it's neither here nor there. So I turned these towers, these like little towery bits, into storage rooms mostly. A couple of them are bathrooms because I thought this building would have actually been built before there were like indoor plumbing or indoor bathrooms. So I just like to think that maybe a couple of the rooms have just been renovated in the last 100 years or so to actually have indoor plumbing, so that it's a bit more cozy. It all works off the grid though. I made sure that all of like the sinks and the toilets and the electricity, it's not electric, it's just candles, so this whole house works off the grid. And then this is where I was having to fix some of that roofing issue because the roof just kept going through the room and it just wouldn't. Usually if you make a room over a roof, it kind of hides that little bit of the roof, but it just wasn't. But that's fine, it was an easy enough fix there. It wasn't too much of a pain. And there is another room upstairs as well, so I do end up making like a creepy child's room. Because again, one of the old kind of houses I went to, it was really creepy. We went all the way up these stairs and it was a kid's room and it just felt so creepy. It just felt like there was a child in there with you. So that's why I was like, right on the top floor, it's got to be a child's room with not much furniture in there. I think there's just a bed, a wardrobe and a doll just sat on the bed, and I was like, yep, creepy, would not want to enter there myself. So this is the kitchen. Again, we've got the big kitchen. We've got everything you could need. We've got, you've got your fridges, you've got your cooker and your sink and everything, even though the vampires don't really need it, but it's fine. I don't think it was always vampires living here. I think there was actually humans living here at one stage. All of the windows are covered, apart from the ones in the familiar servant bedroom, whatever, because I imagine they're human, so they've got curtains but they're just left open, and the kitchen ones are also just left open because I don't think the vampires are spending much time in the kitchen, to be honest with you, unless that's where they're storing people. But I don't know, where would they store the people? Maybe I should have added in a little basement. I don't know if you can add a basement into the rules or not. So I didn't change any of the exterior walls or anything. I've just added in interior walls, and I haven't added in any extras. So I've just decorated it. I always find it harder to work with like tall wall heights as well. I never know what to put in it. I'm like, how do I fill this space with just wall? But I suppose it's quite good because with the vampire pack there are some like big pictures and stuff. I wish there was more though. I will say, when decorating, I had to reuse some of the same pictures because I just didn't feel like there was enough to kind of have much variation. But especially with like old houses where you've kind of got lots of old old paintings of people that lived there before, or I don't know, historical figures or whatever. So I've tried to use all of the different swatches it came with, but I've ended up kind of duplicating a couple. And then I've just filled the kitchen with lots of clutter and bits. I put lots of wine in. Now my reasoning for this was, it's either like bottles of blood disguised as wine, like maybe that's how it's transported to and from the vampires' houses, or they like to collect fine things, so they're like really expensive vintages and that's their kind of collections. Or if they have like human guests around, then they can be like, oh well, look at this vintage wine from whatever year is a good year for vintage wine. I don't know, I don't drink wine. But the vampires know, and they've got the appropriate wine. And again, I've just done like letters piled up, bills piled up, because they don't care, they're not paying bills. They're off the grid, they don't need electricity, they have candles, they don't even know how to pay a bill, I don't think. But one of the reasons I don't like doing bigger builds is because I feel like it's just so hard to fill with stuff and make it look lived in. So that's why I always do like the smaller builds, because you can make it look lived in and like cute with just a few items. But I think there's quite a few cute kitchen stuff. I think a lot of like the cottage living stuff looks quite cute in just like general older homes anyway. This sink in it now doesn't work off the grid, but I'm pretty sure I go back and change that to a cottage living sink, because that's the only like inbuilt sink that works off the grid. I did think about the vampire sinks, but that's not built into a cabinet, it's just like a standalone sink, and I didn't know if that looked a little bit weird, so yeah, I just changed it to a cottage living sink, which doesn't quite fit the counters, but I think I'd rather have it completely be off the grid. then it completely match. So I did consider just taking this sink out entirely of the kitchen, but I was like, it's gonna be really annoying because then your Sims are gonna go upstairs all the time to like wash their pots or whatever. I don't actually have a downstairs bathroom. Both bathrooms are upstairs. One's a full bathroom and one's just like a half bathroom, so just a toilet and a sink. So now we've moved on to the lounge. So we've got a couple of seating areas in the lounge. I definitely wanted a fireplace because I feel like all of these old buildings have these like nice grand fireplaces, and if it's a vampire as well, I don't know, I just feel like just them sitting in front of the fire or just in like a nice seating area, it just makes sense. So I've got a section with a fireplace, but then I really like having these like divoted bits as like an organ or piano area or whatever instrument we've got. So there is actually 2 organs and 1 piano in this house. They just really like their music, what can they say? So we've got a little seating area around this this not piano, what's it called, the no, organs. So we've got an organ there, and again there's more seating, so you can just sit around and chat while someone just nicely like plays along on the organ. Well, I don't know if you can really chat while listening to organ music, but you know, it's there. It's there for some entertainment, for some skill building, for some fun. So again, it's mostly just vampire stuff used throughout. I think it's vampire. It's either vampire or get together sofas and stuff used, because again, like the get together stuff was a lot of like pub and like medieval-y type things, so a lot of it kind of fit quite well in. And then I've used a lot of vampire stuff as well because again, vampires living here, they're supposed to be like a haunted area, so I feel like vampires, if you see like a creepy vampire house, you also think like haunted, ghosts and creepy. And to be honest, like you might be like, oh, look at that haunted house over there. Why would I go in there? It's full of ghosts. Actually, surprise, it's full of vampires. So still just as creepy and just as haunted if it's vampires living there. So I don't use this wallpaper all throughout. I don't know how I feel about having this wallpaper on the interior. I liked it for the exterior, but then I've used it for this like lounge living area. But then I just use like a red wallpaper for the rest. But I think it was nice to have a little bit of a divide and be like, oh, this is the front room, and this has completely separate. Like maybe this was like original walls left in. These walls have not been touched, have not been decorated. This is just as it was. And I've also added in a lot of different kind of artifacts throughout as well. So like little statues of stuff that I think might be expensive. We've got like necklaces and busts. There's urns everywhere. So like maybe that's previous vampires, previous occupants of the house, humans they've liked that they've not wanted to say goodbye to, so they just left their urns in. Just makes it a bit more vampire-y, I think. And I just wanted this big kind of classic dining hall. Almost like this is where you'd have your guests, probably. Like if you had important guests come around, you wouldn't go into the living room, you'd sit here, you'd give them their nice vintage wine. And yeah, we've got another organ to play. I like the organs in the vampire's house. I think it just adds to it and makes it more interesting. Maybe we can have some light organ playing as entertainment for guests. And this is where I use more of those big pictures from the vampires, and they do have a few different swatches, so I've picked, I think there's about 4 swatches, so I've tried to use them throughout the house, but I just wish there was more. I wish we got more pictures in the vampire pack, but to be fair, it was quite an old pack, so yeah, that's fine. And then yeah, more urns, and I've tried to add as much as I could onto like little window ledges and stuff. It's a little bit of a pain because you've kind of got to do it from like the outside because it doesn't count as being inside part of the house. You've got to kind of like go outside and bring the item up and figure out how to put it on. So in this room again, we've got more expensive artifacts. We've got like scrolls and orbs and like not diamonds, what's the word, like gems and stuff. So I don't know why, I just imagine, so over there at the back I've kind of got like the tapestry of the book, and imagine that's some kind of like sacred vampire book. That is the book to life, or the book to vampirism, some kind of big secret thing. And then around it they've just got like loads of gems and stuff, and imagine all of those gems kind of like hold like vampire powers, or they're just worth a lot of money and they're holding on to them. But I like to think that yeah, there's some kind of power that like resonates with something to do in that book, and that book is like super sacred and special. So I've made it like a highlight of the room, and it's even got its own little rug. And then yeah, we've got like another little seating area, and then a bar, so that they can drink with the humans, or maybe they themselves drink. I don't know. Maybe vampires in this world can eat and drink, and they don't have to just have blood. I don't actually remember if vampires in The Sims 4 can they eat and drink regular human food, or do they only drink the blood? It's been so long since I've actually played with vampires, I don't remember. So now we've got like the foyer bit as well, where you come into. I wanted it to be like a large open space, but still feel a bit grand. So I've put some statues in there. And I don't know if it looks a bit silly, but that statue of I've put right at the back, I imagine that's like the original owner, like the forefather, the person who made and built this place. I don't know if it looks a bit silly because he just looks, I don't know. He reminded me of, what's that vampire? Is it Caleb? The vampire? I think he kind of looks like him. So yeah, I've added in him. Maybe Caleb owns this place. And then I've added in some more like vampire statues surrounding it as well. Again, just a couple of different statues, just to add some more variation, some more interest, some old pots, something a bit more, I don't know, just old. Just if it's old and it's expensive, they have it, they own it, and they are keeping it. So then I've kind of done the statue like protected by these gargoyles, so like he's an important person, and maybe the gargoyles like come to life or something. I don't know, that would be pretty cool. But and then maybe you could do it so there's like a secret passageway under the statue. That could be where the cellar is for the people, for the food. And I didn't really know how to put rugs in this area because none of it was like really like lined up, because the door isn't directly in the middle, and then the staircases don't line up with the door, and I was like, oh, all the rugs just don't suit and look well together. So I've done it the way that I thought made the most sense, just having like a long rug in front of the door and then like a big rug where the founder statue and the other bits are, and then the rest just being kind of like left rugless. So I mean, it's easier to clean if it's not just covered in rugs. You can just give it a good sweep over, not that they're cleaning anyway. As you can tell by all of the cobwebs and stuff. So yeah, I've just added, what did I add in? I added cobwebs, like scratches from the werewolf pack. I think there was like mold and like damp patches from one of the packs. I've added that in. I've added like cracks and like crumbling rock and brick and stuff. So I just tried to make it look a bit more deteriorated. I probably could have gone and done more around it all, but people still live there, so maybe it's not going to be like in the worst condition in the world. It's not going to literally be falling down, but I wanted it to look like it definitely did need repairing. And I wanted to put a couple of lanterns in front of the house, just on a little shelf. So it's almost like, do you know what you see in those films when people go into a creepy house, it's like raining and they go like, hello? They open the door and then just on the side there's just like a light that they pick up to like see where they're going. So that's what I've done there. I've kindly left long lost travellers away to see inside the house if the main candles aren't on. Aren't I nice? So now I've gone up to the upstairs. So we've got the main bedroom, and I actually really like the layout of the main bedroom. So we've got the bed there, and I kind of put it behind some curtains, and I feel like it looks fancy and nice and cozy, and I would definitely like to sleep there. And I just wanted to make it look quite elegant. Well, I don't know how elegant it looks. It's got like the old furniture, it's a bit like antique-y, a bit more elegant. It's a bit more interesting than just a regular bedroom, I think. I think it definitely screams kind of like vampire and older. And then there's more sitting areas. I feel like when I don't know how to fill a space, I think just some sitting areas works nice. It's nice to have extra seating, it's nice to have somewhere to have guests, or, you know, it's nice just to be able to sit and chat in your bedroom, not just on your bed. I think. I don't know. I don't have space for a full-on seating area in my bedroom. I just have enough space for bed, but it would be nice, I guess, to have some extra chairs and sofas to talk and discuss things on, rather than just sat on the bed. So this is that little seating area, and again in front of a fireplace to try and keep the house nice and warm. I did see, so the vampire pack came with radiators, and I do love using radiators in most of my builds, because I'm from the UK, we all have radiators, so it's only normal to have radiators in every single room in the house. But then I thought fireplaces worked a bit better in this build than radiators. The radiators would have been added in a lot later, and again everything's off the grid, so yeah, radiators didn't feel like it fit the vibe. So this is the ensuite bathroom, so this is just the half bath. I was going to put a bathtub in there as well, but I didn't think it really needed it. especially with the plumbing being added in later and probably wasn't a priority at all and hasn't even been thought about. I thought it's better just to add in the sink and the toilet, and plus there's like ladders going up in all of these. So it just didn't feel like there was room for a bath. In the actual bathroom, there's no ladders going upstairs, so you've just got the bathroom. And I did a rags to riches of the Reaper's rewards, which was quite fun, and I've used some of the rewards that we've got in here. I used like the lady's tome, and there was like a painting, like a rune painting you got as well. So I've used those as just like extra artifacts and extra fun things. But yeah, I did like a rags to riches of that, and that was fun. And I want to kind of carry Jared on into life and death stuff, so I might make him a little tiny home at some point using the life and death things. And I'm trying to decide how I want to play the next kind of let's play type thing, because I did really enjoy doing it. Making videos of let's plays is actually helping me do actual gameplay. So I love building. All I usually do is build. That is my main thing on The Sims. I like building, and I don't mind the gameplay, but I do struggle with it. I just get a bit bored quite quickly, and I'm like, oh well, I'm done with this, I have to build something else. But it's actually made me finish like a whole, I don't think I ever would have finished the rewards if I just was doing it just not as a let's play. I don't think I would have finished it. So it's definitely fun to try different things on this channel. I'm having a lot of fun like trying the different videos. And yeah, so we've got the familiar's room here, and they've just got a double bed, the stairs up to the baby's room, and then they've got like their own little sofa and fireplace. I put the little embroidery and like knitting, the little embroidery box in there because I figured they would be the one that's having to sew everything and fix everything. So they have unfortunately got the sewing box. And then this is the baby's room. So it's just got some basic baby things in it. It's just got the cot, it's got like a baby changing table. I think the cot can change into a toddler bed or something, I can't remember. But you can easily swap it out anyway. It's got a high chair, and it's just got some toys and some bits for the baby, so that if you want to have a baby in it you can, or you can just leave it empty and it's just an old disused nursery, which makes it even creepier, I think. Although I'm not sure having candles as your only light source on the walls of the baby's room and the children's room is that safe, but it's what it is. We're working with what we've got. I like all of the big candle lights they've got that hang down, like the big candle chandeliers. But I didn't realise how, I guess, long they were. I thought the walls were a good wall height, so they're quite. I thought they were long walls rather than medium walls. But when I tried to use like the big chandeliers, they kind of like clipped in front of like the chairs and stuff, and it looks like you could walk straight into them. So I'm not sure if maybe it was medium wall height, because you definitely cannot walk under those chandeliers. Like you can walk under the big chandeliers on the first floor, but not on the second or third floor. Which is why I was checking here. You can kind of see like it's too short. Like you see it's like hitting the back of the rest of the sofa, so you can't have it. So I had to go through and change it to all of the shorter, boring chandelier. Well, not even a chandelier properly, is it? It's just 4 candles on a thing. So not as grand and not as interesting, but at least you're not going to hit your head on a candle. So in the upstairs hallway, we've just got, again, a couple more seats, just somewhere. It looks like a nice place just to sit and read if you've got like an old book, or just sit and have a glass of vintage wine. And then again, you've got like a bookcase, you've got some like old artifacts, some interesting things. And then this is the child's room, which I think is creepy. So we've got that same kind of creepy wallpaper, the old like Tudory old wall that's very, very creepy, I think. And then we've got the other like towers in it. I've just done as like storage rooms because they're quite small. I didn't want to leave them empty, but I figured if you actually lived there and you had these tower rooms that you weren't using as any actual kind of tower, you'd probably just shove stuff up there and like put some boxes, put some more chairs, and you'd leave it. You'd forget about it. It's just kind of like attic storage. And then there's one of the towers has like 3 levels. So right on the top level, it's like a really tiny study. It's just got a writing desk and a bookshelf, but it feels like a lot of effort to go up there every time you want to just write something. But I feel like it has really nice views, and maybe it could be inspirational and to look out over the world at night when it's dark, because you're a vampire and you can't look out in the day. I don't know. Anyway, I think it looks quite good having the study all the way up there. So then that was the interior done, and we've moved to the exterior. Now, again, I don't do big builds, so I don't like doing like loads of landscaping, but I think this worked out okay. I think it kind of worked out how I envisioned. So we've got a graveyard at the back, and there we go, that's encased there, and I've got kind of like a hole dug ready for a fresh body to go in. Well, I'm assuming there's a body in the casket. Maybe not. Maybe it's just it's waiting. It's ready for the next victim. And I definitely wanted it to be overgrown because I feel like these vampires, their main priority is not tending the garden. They don't really care. As long as they can get in the house, that's all they're bothered about. So I started to do all of these hedges around, and I did all the hedges around the house. And then I went into debug. And I don't know why I always do this. I look at the things you can buy first, and then I look at the debug stuff after. So I put all of the hedges around, and I was like, oh, actually, I prefer these overgrown debug hedges. So then I get rid of all of the hedges, and I replace them all with these, I think they make more sense, these like more like bushier bushes from debug. And then I decided I didn't like the bushes going all around the house, so get rid of all of them, and I just have kind of like plants and bits going around. Now, I did like the bushes being taller and bigger, but I also liked having the big iron fences, so I left most of the bushes quite short so that you could still see the fences, because I just feel like the fences, they're from the vampire pack, and I think they look really like vampire-y and creepy, so I definitely wanted to keep them in and visible. And then I've just added in some like extra decor items around. So in the back right, we've got the graveyard, but then in the back left here, I've kind of made like the start of a little forest. So we've got a little pond in there, put the wishing well from the romantic garden pack, is it? In there. And then just like fallen logs and like little trees and bits like that. And then I've got a couple of fountains because we got the garden pack for free a couple of months ago, and I've never used the romantic garden pack stuff. So I was like, oh, well, I got it for free, and it looks cool, but it's not something I'd buy myself. But I thought because it's all like mossy and stone, it really worked with this house. So I was really happy to be able to use some of the items here. So I've got the old kind of fountains and a couple of statues, this flower pot, just use a few little bits from the pack. But I've tried not to just overdo it completely because, again, it's just whatever's been left there. The vampires aren't sitting out there spending all of their time in the garden. So we've just got kind of a couple of benches. We've got the picnic stone bench thing as well. We've got trees that have fallen down, that lamp's fallen down, and that's all we've really got out there. The rest is just overgrown. So I did go through and I put grass around the whole property. I don't know I think it looks good. I think it was worth it. It took ages to put grass around everywhere, but I really wanted that whole kind of like, you've got the path, but then you've just got all of the overgrown grass just everywhere. Like, it really needs a good mow. The bugs are happy, so that's good. I just really hope it was worth it. I think it looks overgrown and more derelict, so I think it does the job. And then I just used a couple of vampire plants around the outside, or just like darker, like the brownier ferns, or like the twiggy kind of dying off rose bushes. There are a couple of like live plants, because I figured not everything will have died. Like, a couple of things will still survive and just be happy they'll just be the only plants there thriving and surviving. And there's also a pond in the back, so you can do some fishing. I just thought some kind of nice, usually I make my own ponds, but I thought the actual fishable pond would be good, because I always like to have some kind of body of water in the garden usually, especially in an old house like this. A lot of the time they did have kind of ponds or rivers running through, just something to make it a little bit more interesting in the garden. But if you do like this house and you're interested in downloading it, I have uploaded it to the gallery. It's just under my gallery name, which is just KirstieAndrews, so just search that in and you'll find this. This is the most recent one uploaded. I think it's just called like Spooky Tudor Vampire House or something like that, so it'll be quite obvious which one it is. And I've just gone through and also added in some extra dead plants, so we got a lot of like vines. We've got some like greeny, what are they called when it just like go, is it vines that go across the floor, like just leaves that are like spreading across? So we've got the old like vampire-y dead shriveled up ones that go across, and I've got like the living kind of green ones as well, just to add some more variation onto the actual paths. I've gone through and tried to fix the terrain paint up as much as I can, so I do straighten out all of the edges of the path. We've got this like darker green grass, because where I've built it, as you can see to like the side, the grass is really bright. It's such a bright green, and I did not think that fit for this like spooky vampire house. So kind of got this like darky foresty green coloured grass going on. I have tried to tie the whole exterior in with the interior and make it kind of match, and I think it looks good. I actually really like how it turned out in the end. I haven't played with it yet, so I'm looking forward to actually playing with this build a little bit, getting a family in here. I might just get like a couple of vampires, one human, and just see where I go with it, because I think it'll be a fun house to play in. And as I was going through debug, I did find some more like interior stuff I wanted to include and stuff. It was mostly just like books, maybe like a couple of extra like artifacts or something interesting. So I do just go through at the end and like scatter those around, like put one book up on the writing desk. Like I think that was actually like the major, like, is it like the 5th vampire tome or something? I've bought all of those out and put those in, just again for something a little bit more interesting around the house that your Sims can actually like use. So I'm just now going through and putting in the final bits to make it look overgrown and derelict, but I think I actually really like it, and I think I've done a good job of trying to make it look overgrown. I think there's enough good details in there to make it interesting. Like every time you look, like, oh look, there's some mushrooms over here, or oh look at this grass, or there's some plants over here that have just grown. I maybe could have put more plants and more bits in to make it look a bit more overgrown or something, but I don't know, I like it. So I'm very happy with the build overall, and I hope you like it too. So I thought I'd just hop into the game so that we can see the full build. This is the lovely big Tudor house with the lovely fountains in front. It's all overgrown. Definitely needs some yard work. So we'll take a look around the grounds. We come in with this lovely big fence, and then we've got fountains to both sides, some creepy gravestones, we've got some statues. Go through this little I don't know, this little archway type thing. We've got some picnic bench, some trees, our lovely pond with all the little fish. Oh wow, there's lots of cool fish in there. We've got the rainbow fish. Oh, I didn't check which pond I put in. I just put in a pond. And we've got this really big fallen down tree. Go around here. Then we've got the lovely graveyard again with a big gate. We've got the coffin ready to go in the ground. Oh, I love this little graveyard. And then we just come through to the rest of the garden. I can't wait to make a graveyard with the new pack. That's probably one of the first things I'm going to build. I love these fountains. And I put the little lily pads in, which I think look really nice. Alright, so we go into the big double doors up here, and then we've come into this big kind of grand hallway area. Alright, so we've got all the statues, the lovely founder person, the original owner's urns here, I'd like to think. Even just from this side, like it just looks so grand. I love it. If we go to this side, through this area, we've got a little knight in shining armour here, and then we come into the main sitting room. So we've got kind of this little seating area over here. Just zoom out a bit. We've got this in front of the fireplace, keep nice and warm and toasty. And then the other seating side with the organ and the creepy dancing statue. It's just a little girl dancing, but I think it's creepy. Imagine entering an old house and this statue's just here next to an organ. Nah, no thank you. I think I'd leave. And then to the other side, we've got the dining room, the guest seating area, the big grand room, which I love. I think it looks really, really cool and really vampire-y and quite expensive. But yeah, definitely needs some work like the other rooms. And just the fish head on the wall. Then we come back out and we go down the side of the staircase, and we've got the kitchen. So we've just got a couple of little seats here next to this table. And then, yeah, fridge, stove. I've replaced the sink so that it actually works off the grid. And yeah, all of their vintage wines all stacked up nicely. Oh, and it's snowing outside. Cute. Okay. And yeah, so I think this looks really cool as well. And then we venture up the stairs and we're into this nice big hallway. Again, lots of space, and straight in front of the doors, this is that little coffin room with just the just the 2 coffins and nothing else in here. Not even a painting, just 2 coffins. At least if you come into this house by accident and go into the first room, you know exactly what you're in store for. And then we've just got more big paintings, we've got bookcases, we can kind of get around this way. Then just this little lava statue, I think it's so cute, I had to include it. And then we've just got a little seating area just to, read a book, have a glass of wine, some chess, because this house looks like it needs chess. More big pictures. And then this is where the grand piano is. Over to this side, we've got that kind of servant familiar bedroom. So they've kind of got everything they need, which, yeah, including some creepy spiders. And then up this ladder is... So this is the baby's room, all finished off. We've got the cot, some toys, the changing table, the high chair, just everything you really need. It's a very tight, cramped room, but baby doesn't need that much space, to be honest. And then if we go back downstairs and out of the familiar's room, straight across from it, this is the main bedroom. So this is where the roof clipped in a little bit, but there's not much I can do about that, I don't think. So yeah, this is the room, which I think looks very grand, very nice, very welcoming and cozy and inviting. I don't think I'd ever actually want to leave my bedroom. And I love this bed behind this curtain over here. I would just, I don't know, imagine just like closing the curtains and just snuggling up in here. Oh, it would be so nice. And then they've got their own fireplace, another little seating area. And then this is where their little half bath is, because they've got the stairs going up, so couldn't really fit a bathtub in, but that's okay. They don't need a bathtub. They just need a toilet and a sink. And then upstairs from their bedroom is just this little storage room. It's just got some old artifacts, some old trunks, just some bits not really in use. And then there's a door up between both of the bedrooms, and this is the full bathroom. So we've just got the bath, the sink, and the toilet. Again, it's just a small bathroom, not much else you can really add in. So yeah, that's just kind of been added in at the end of the house, as if they didn't have plumbing in here before. The door next to the coffin room, this is just a storage room here. This is the biggest tower in the house, so we've just got a couple of crates on this floor, and then just some old bits here, some baskets, a chair, some little bits that have just been left behind over time. And then we go up to the third floor, and the third and final floor is just this little, oh my gosh, that spider scared me. I always forget that the actual webs have spiders, the webs have actual spiders in them, but the spiders move. And then this is the bookcase in as well, so that's the little study, going all the way up those ladders and steps just to get to this lovely tiny area. Now, there is one more room in the house, which is just up these steps, so we'll go up these stairs. Okay, and it is the creepy, disused child's room with just a little doll sat on the bed. That was the only human-like doll. All the rest were like knitted and like cute animal plushies and dolls and stuff, and I was like, no, I want one that resembles kind of like a baby doll or something like that. It's just creepy. Imagine just coming up here. There's nothing. There's some books behind this spider web. There's a wardrobe. There's, yeah, and there's just a doll just on the bed. That's it. Nothing else. No thanks. I had no part of there. Oh, and then up here there's this also very creepy painting just staring down at you in this kind of old, weathered, battered frame. I don't think sleeping in here would be very nice. This is like, imagine just being like sat here on your bed like, oh yes, what a lovely comforting room to fall asleep in. No thank you. And this is the final house in the dark. Sufficiently creepy, I would say. So yeah, it was a really fun build. I'm not used to doing bigger builds, so hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you did want to download this house, it's just under my name, KirstieAndrews, in the gallery. If you wanted to try the shell challenge yourself, that's by Sims. So you can just go into theirs and download the shell, and then you can try it out too. If you did like this, please like and subscribe so I know to make more builds like this in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.